welcome to our broadcast today. My name is Cindy Speaker. I have with me attorney Valine Hikes of Michael J. O'Connor and Associates, and Valine's going to talk with us today about train accidents, liability issues, and hopefully some safety precautions and things like that. So Valine, thanks for being with us today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Well, Valine, we hear about so many, not a lot, but when train accidents happen, they're usually catastrophic. Let's talk initially about what are some different types of train accidents that occur.
Well, probably one of the ones that most people are most familiar with would be the derailments. But there are some other things that can happen as well, such as a collision at a crossing where maybe there was a signal problem. There could also be something with their negligence of the employee or sabotage of the train area, as well as some type of a mechanical malfunction. So those are the main types of train accidents that we see.
Now, with the different types of train accidents, are there liability issues? Are the liability issues different? Who can be held at fault? Is it different parties in those different types of train accidents?
It can be, yeah, and it's really going to depend on where the fault lies in the incident. People that can be held responsible could be the owner of the company who's running the train.
Yeah.
It could be, if it was at a collision at a crossing, it could be either the person running the train or the owner of the car. Maybe the car was at fault.
Yeah.
It could also be the owner of the railroad tracks, the train manufacturer. And then in some cases, depending on the scenario and the facts of the case, it could also be the city or the county if there was a problem with the roadway near where the accident occurred.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. But I want to talk about, I'm from Philadelphia, and I want to mention that in 2015, there was a horrific train crash in this area. 8 people were killed, 200 people were injured. And I believe the gentleman, Brandon Bostian, he was charged with causing a catastrophe, involuntary manslaughter, and other crimes. My question is, 8 people died, 200 people were injured. What kind of recovery is there for these people?
Well, and I know there were some criminal charges there, but on the personal injury side of it, there could be a number of different claims that are brought and a number of different recoveries that could be had, mainly compensation, of course.
Okay.
In some cases, you may have a wrongful death claim. Otherwise, you'd be looking at the personal injury side of it, whereas they could recover for their medical expenses, maybe lost wages, loss of earning capacity. Maybe they lost wages while they're getting better. Maybe there's certain injuries that have occurred to where they're not going to be able to perform some type of job in the future. So maybe the loss of earning capacity, as well as, those medical expenses. They could include physical therapy, rehab, home health care services, as well as pain and suffering. Maybe it's something where they're, loss of enjoyment of life, disfigurement. All of those things will come into play depending on the type of injury and the severity of the injury.
Yeah. So a train accident, it sounds as if it's not that unlike a horrific car accident. It's just that train accidents tend to be more horrific maybe than a lot of other types of accidents. But the recovery path is similar. Is that true?
Very similar. Correct.
Okay.
Very similar.
Yeah.
It's just going to depend on who's at fault and what parties you're looking at. And sometimes that's not always easy to determine right in the from the start.
Which is why we want people to call somebody like you because they're not going to recover. They're not going to be properly compensated and taken care of if they don't have somebody navigating that path. It's very complicated stuff.
Correct. It is. Yes, very important to get somebody who knows the process and knows the system and can make sure that all of your rights are, basically you're making sure you're getting the right people involved in the beginning so you don't miss out on that opportunity.
Yeah. Valine, if somebody wants to reach you, has a question, how can they do that?
They can reach us by email at www.o'connorlaw.com or by telephone at 1-800-518-4529.
Very good. Valine, thanks a lot for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And for those of you watching, whether live or by replay, if you have questions, or comments, feel free to leave them right on this page. We'll respond to them, get your questions answered. Thanks everybody for being with us. We'll see you again soon.